hoping that it turns out to be at least decent. So, what else? Skyrim. Oh yeah, Skyrim. Skyrim. I got burned so bad with Oblivion. I do not like Oblivion at all. I just lost half my subscribers over that. I'm not a huge Oblivion fan. I thought it was a really largely a boring game and largely a poorly put together game in a lot of aspects, just because of stuff like they had very few voice actors, so you didn't feel immersed at all just because everyone talked in the same voice or anything like that. You wasted your best voice acting talent incredibly early on with Patrick Stewart. Of course, he was probably just there to pick up a check and leave, but whatever. If you're gonna go with celebrity voice actors, at least fucking, have them as a constant kind of, have them as being constantly in the game, you know what I mean? Do I have engineers here? No. So I wasn't a huge fan of Oblivion, but I'm really looking forward to Skyrim, just because I really like the direction they're taking with it. You can, your every single item you have, you can view in 3D. Every single, basically every single item you can have that you can, you can dual wield magic and a sword at the same time. You can do a lot of really interesting things that I really wanted to see in an RPG, especially a new RPG, and so I'm really looking forward to that. The dynamic dragon fights look fucking amazing. All depends on how that plays out in the game, in actual game. The environments look amazingly good, especially compared to Oblivion, which I found had these really boring kind of... Oh, hello there. Had these really boring, very similar mission styles, like not mission styles, sorry, similar environments. That's what I'm trying to say. They're all their mission. I keep saying mission. It's because I'm playing this game. All their all their environments were very same-ish, very brown or green or anything like that. I actually had the same issue with the new Fallout, Fallout 3. Fallout 3 had some very generic looking areas. In fact, if you compare something like New Vegas to Fallout 3, you can see how much attention was put into kind of trying to make New Vegas more colorful than Fallout 3 was. So I really want to see that in Skyrim too, and I'm hoping Skyrim's going to be really good. I cannot wait for it. That comes out in November, and I'm sure it's going to be fucking epic. So, and I mean, the benefit of even if you weren't a huge fan of Oblivion like me, there was still some appeal to it because it is a very open-ended game, and that's the appeal to them. So, I by no means completely hate Oblivion. There was some stuff that they did right, but I just didn't like it as much as a lot of other people do. So sue me, What else? What else do I have on this list? Mass Effect 3 doesn't seem to be anything different than Mass Effect 1 or Mass Effect 2. It seems like they're trying to balance out the gameplay a bit, because Mass Effect 1 was very RPG oriented. Mass Effect 2 was a little bit off. It still had RPG elements, but it was more focused on better gameplay, stuff like that. And to be honest, I did like both styles better. I like both styles actually. I really liked the new combat system in Mass Effect 2. But I also didn't like other things. Like I didn't like how your powers were very you were very limited in what kind of powers you had, how you upgraded them, stuff like that. I wanted to see a return to kind of the old Mass Effect way of doing it. But I was glad the inventory was gone, because fuck the Mass Effect 1 inventory. It was terrible. I hated that inventory so much. And just other little touches were nice too. So Mass Effect 3 is going to be interesting. I'm a huge fan of the series. Can't wait to see how it ends. Some of the plot choices are bugging me. Like apparently you're fighting Cerberus now, despite the fact that at the end of Mass Effect 2, I actually helped Cerberus out. I thought they had a good game plan compared to everybody else in the galaxy, who seems to be fucking incompetent. But yeah, not much to say about Mass Effect. I'm just pretty much going to wait until it comes out and see what happens. What are you guys doing? I didn't tell you to go there. BioShock Infinite. That's another one I'm really looking forward to. BioShock Infinite. Huge fan of BioShock 1. Really enjoyed a lot of the aspects of Bioshock 1. Oh, come on, tank, hit these things. Yeah, really big fan of that. Not so much a fan of the second one. I'll get into that a little bit later. But Bioshock Infinite, you got Ken Levine writing again. You got Ken Levine writing about politics again, which is awesome. When Ken Levine talks about politics, it's probably the only time I ever see in video games where a game developer actually talks about politics and doesn't strawman people. I mean, like, if you look at something like Andrew Ryan in Bioshock 1, it's pretty clear that Ken Levine doesn't agree with objectivism or any of the philosophies that Andrew Ryan's like character is based off of, but he doesn't care, and he still makes Andrew Ryan they still made Andrew Ryan a compelling and interesting and very much a strong character who actually had some legitimate points. Like when you're playing a game and the villain says something like Andrew Ryan does in Bioshock, and their point is completely legitimate, and you sit there and go, hey, he does have a point, that's good storytelling, and that happened a lot with Bioshock for a lot of people, I think. So Bioshock Infinite, I'm really looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the new Sky kind of option. I'm really wondering how they're going to play off the politics of it, just because it seems like fascists versus communists so far. A fascist kind of overpower versus these communist rebels. That's what I see so far, but you never know. It could surprise me, though. It just seems to be more a commentary on extreme American nationalism than anything else, which is interesting, actually. I want to see that talked about more in games, because you see that happen in games all the time. You see this extreme American nationalism, like what's it called? Modern Warfare 2, you know, like, why are the Russians invading America? Well, Russians are just evil, you know, crap like that. I mean, it's ridiculous. And or something like Homefront, which is just blatantly up its ass American. Like, I love John Milnes, the guy who wrote that, because he's wrote some great movies, but he is very blatantly kind of hyper American nationalism and all that stuff, which does bug me. And oh shit. Okay, you guys go repair that tank. I was just kind of keeping that as a placement. So Bioshock Infinite I'm looking forward to. Oh, and here's the big one, the one everyone who owns a PC is going to bitch about. Well, anyone who played this game back in the 90s, they're going to bitch so hard about this one. XCOM. Oh, XCOM. Oh, had a bit of a freeze there. No, it's just my footage chopping. XCOM. Oh, lordy, XCOM. What do you say about fucking XCOM? It's being panned a lot by fans of the original game. I think it was, yeah, UFO Enemy Unknown. That was the original title of the game. Before I say anything, I'd just like to point out that I did not play UFO Enemy Unknown until 2 years ago on DOSBox, and it is probably still one of the best fucking PC games ever made. It was brilliant. It was groundbreaking. It was amazing. It still does things today that no one else is fucking doing. Genius game. Brilliantly done. Later on, not so much in some of the other XCOM games, but it's still a great series. Anyway, the XCOM remake is coming out by 2K, and basically what it does, it pretty much takes most of what XCOM was known for and throws it out the fucking window. Just as a random example, the original XCOM series was very much about, you know, turn-based strategy on these in these scenarios and stuff like that. That's gone in XCOM. In the new XCOM, it's going to be a first-person shooter, which I can understand. I can actually understand, because a lot of fans are freaking out about this, and I can understand why they're upset, because they're taking a completely they're basically taking the title of an old game that they absolutely love, and they're attempting to basically cash in on it. Well, that's the argument, but I don't think it's so much a cash in as it is a homage in many sense, because basically I should have flanked this guy, because basically for me, what I think they're trying to do is, I think that the guys who are making this game are fans of the original. I think they do understand the game, and this is an act of love, because you have to remember 2K is not a, and there's a lot of reasons why they'd switch to a first-person shooter. One, 2K is not a turn-based tactical kind of strategy game developer. They're not that kind of company. They're a first-person shooter company. They develop stuff like Bioshock 2. So I think that they're trying to go for their own particular style in the same universe. I don't think that they're attempting to just cash in on the brand name, because trust me, if they're trying to cash in on the brand name, they are fucking failing, because all they're doing is just pissing off the fans who would have bought the game. Other than that, with XCOM, another thing that makes them go into a first-person shooter is, sadly, there's not a huge market for turn-based shooters. Like, if you're going for a blockbuster game title, you're not going to get that kind of appeal with a turn-based shooter. You're not going to get the sales that you want. You're not going to be able to, spend $1 million, spend millions of dollars to make this game. If it's a turn-based shooter, like if it's a turn-based strategy game, just because there's not a lot of appeal for it in the market. Like, I honestly love that setup. I love that game, but let's face it, I'm in the minority here. I'm not I'm not a I'm not a COD player or anything like that. I'm someone who kind of likes in-depth strategy, and it's just being completely honest here. That's not a huge field right now, and you wouldn't be able to get sales. You wouldn't be able to get decent sales out of it, basically. So there's really no. I can totally understand where they're coming by doing that. That being said, so far I'm kind of disappointed because they didn't have a demo at E3. Very disappointed in that. I was looking forward to I was hoping that they'd have a demo. They didn't. They didn't have a demo, which was very disappointing. They did have a few trailers and stuff like that, but they did have they didn't have screen demos, but they did have demos on the floor, which several whoa, time to flank this bitch. Which several reviewers did talk about and did mention, and so it's kind of hard basing your opinion off of basically third-party information, basically someone who basically just saw a demo and said what they think about it. So I can't actually visualize what it is or anything like that. But so far it's kind of interesting just because they are incorporating aspects of XCOM into it a bit. I mean, you are kind of getting squad commands, you are getting a global map, you are getting a base, you are getting all that. So to an extent they are listening to fans and attempting to apply some of that to the actual game, which I applaud them for, because trust me, they're going to have a hell of a hard time selling this to the fan base in general. There's no way that the fan base is going to go for this at all with them playing the first-person shooter angle. So that's just XCOM is going to be really interesting, I think. I'm probably going to just play it anyway, just because I want to see where they're going with it. I like the whole 1950s kind of angle, but for the love of God, please stop doing it. 2K, you did it with Bioshock. You're not doing a Bioshock Infinite. That's like the 1920s, but try something else. Try 1960s Soviet industrialism or something like that. It's just don't always go for the the 1950s American suburbia kind of model. It's kind of been done to death by now. So. And wow, I had one more point on XCOM I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, I was actually kind of looking forward to XCOM. I was thinking, wow, this might actually be decent. I from what I've been hearing, like what some critics have been saying about it and stuff like that, I thought this might actually be kind of interesting. Yeah, landmines. Anyway, so I kind of was curious about it, and I'm like, I wonder who's developing XCOM. And so I decided to go online, and I was severely disappointed. The developers of XCOM are 2K Marlin. I'm probably mispronouncing that. Marlin, it's a city in Australia, I believe. Or maybe it's New Zealand, I can't recall. Anyway, 2K Marlin is one of the mini companies of 2K Boston, which is now Irrational Games, and they made They worked on Bioshock, but by no means can they take credit for it. 2K Boston is the one who can take credit for that shit. Okay, let's just clear out these mines and get this mission fucking over with. Whoa, another freeze. There we go. 2K Marlin, can't really take credit for it. It's really all 2K Boston. It's all 2K Boston. They're the ones who did so much of the work. And 2K Marlin, guess what they made? They made Bioshock 2, which I hated. Well, I didn't hate it so much as so much it was a really, really poor sequel. Because once again, you had I just explained how I really hate it when people strawman people in video games. They did the exact thing in Bioshock 2. They took Andrew Ryan and they made him into a fucking straw man, like this irrational, insane straw man, and it pissed me off so much. I mean, the villain in Bioshock 2 was absolutely terrible. She was this religious, collectivist nut. I mean, you were never sitting there going like, hey, she's got a point or anything like that. You were basically sitting there the entire time going, this lady is fucking nuts, and that's lazy storytelling. Unless you can actually make the insanity of the character compelling to some extent, it's just lazy story writing when you do something like that. Oh shit. Oh shit. Wow, these guys did not show up last time. That's random. Let's get these guys over here. Come on, guys, drive, seriously. Go. Move, you idiots. There you go. There you go, these tanks will keep them busy and stuff like that. So yeah, now that I found out that 2K Marlin, I think they're part of Irrational now, I'm not sure though, are making the game. Yeah, not really looking forward to it as much as I was originally. Who knows though? I kind of want to see some of the content that they're working on. I want to see what they actually what their goal to actually make this game is. Just because I'm a huge fan of UFO Enemy Unknown. I really don't get why people are saying like this is the end of XCOM because they you know, they got rid of the turn-based strategy and stuff like that. I'm like, do you guys not fucking, wow, okay, tank humping a truck. All these guys are ranting about this stuff. I'm like, do you guys not remember XCOM Interceptor, which was a space simulation that was absolutely terrible? Do you not remember Enforcer, which was pretty bad too? I mean, like, there have been bad XCOM games. Like, don't kid yourself. There have been shit XCOM games. So, there's been really good XCOM games, but there's been shit XCOM games too. So, that's pretty much all my thoughts on E3. My whole issue, my whole focus on E3 this year was definitely on a lot of the interesting titles that they're coming out with. I'd have to say that I'm kind of, I see the appeal in Nintendo's new system. I'm not sure if it's going to perform well at all. I assume that it'll do well, but it all depends on how Nintendo markets it, and all depends on well as if they get that third-party support. Microsoft conference was pretty weak, but at the same time it had some nice moments. And I think the show stealer for me was definitely Skyrim and Prey 2. And I think the biggest confusion for me right now is XCOM, whether I'm going to actually go and see if XCOM is any good, or if it's or if I'm just going to say screw it and completely ignore it. I kind of want to see actually if 2K Marlin can make a good game. I doubt it, but I think they can probably make a good game. Anyway, that was just a bit of filler. That was just me, ranting for probably an hour and a half or something like that, with pretty much the same fucking mission, But if this is basically just a way for me to update everyone on what's going on with the site, not the site, sorry, with my channel, as well as pretty much what I thought of E3. So till next time, I will be getting Battle Stations Pacific up soon, and I will be getting that Company of Heroes Marathon up soon after that as well. So, till next time, usual YouTube shit, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you guys next time.